Welcome to 100 Gems Podcast, home of the champs. Listen up, guys. We got one of the champs in the building today. Y'all don't know him, but I've been knowing this gentleman for quite some time. A good almost 30 years, and his name is Quincy Price, all right? I call him Q. He go by a few other names, but this guy has been monumental in our industry, in our city. I met Q. When I met Q, he was younger. I was younger too. He was probably right around in his early 20s. And Q, when I met him, he was different. He had a different voice. He was a different individual. He was very outspoken. And man, he had a way. He had a way with words. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to Quincy. But when I start off, Q, I just want you to just, introduce yourself to the people. We're going to flow a little bit, but this is QP, man. And listen, you guys, if you ain't heard somebody really be able to use words and flow and rap, if I could say rap, I don't know if he's going to give us none today. We're going to see if we can squeeze something out of him. He tried to tell me he retired, but he can't retire from this game. QP, what's going on, baby?
Oh, nothing much, Darvin. It's a pleasure. And it's also good to be at the 100 Gems, man. And I'm just glad you picked me to come and, kind of share some things about who I am. I do appreciate the good words you just spoke of me, man. And, we go way back. So one of the things I will say is I'm an only son. I'm an only male out of 5 girls. My mother in total had 6 kids. I was raised in Milwaukee. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I've been here since I was about maybe 9. And so,
so you have 5 sisters?
5,
Q?
man. I ain't got a
and
brother.
you the oldest or what, Q?
No, I'm the middle child.
You the middle child? Oh, man, they had you bobblehead around there.
They
Didn't
used to beat me up until I got big enough to fight back.
I never knew that, man. So no big brothers or no little brothers. It was just you and the females in the household.
Oh yeah, man. It was pretty stressful at times because my mother had a few addictions.
Yeah.
And so, as I got of age, they kind of depended on me to go out and bring some food back in the house.
Right.
So it kind of felt good to be depended on like that by my sisters, So I kind of knew how to take care of women early.
Oh man, that's deep, man. Yeah, and so when you say moms had a few addictions, that's one thing, man, that we challenge with, as African American males in our community. Mm-hmm. A lot of women that come from that, and man, it's somewhat honorable, man, for you to even share that, because a lot of people wouldn't even share the fact that, hey, man, moms have some addiction. So can you tell me some of the challenges, Q, as a young man, being in the middle with between sisters and then the mom under that, and you had to feed the family? I mean, what kind of challenges, man, did you deal with, within that?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I would consider to be challenging in that environment was, kind of like all of my relatives are mostly women. Like I was raised, my aunties, we only got a few men in total that's, in the family.
Right.
I might have had 3 or 4 uncles, and then they had children and they birthed a lot of girls. So it was just a lot of women. So it was rare in our family that there were men.
Right.
So, being that I was a man, I looked at the family and I realized that, they could sometimes overlook, or even know how to handle a man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So growing up, they would call me little man. All the women in the family would call me little man. And so it was some things that I would do to act out because I didn't feel like I was getting the attention that I probably needed. Mm-hmm. So there was some challenges in that area.
Gotcha.
So I would.
Well, today Christmas, man. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Merry Christmas from the coach. You know what I'm saying? Q, tell the folks, man, Merry Christmas for the one time, man.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Before the show today, it's Christmas and the coach working on Christmas. It's Christmas and we got QP here on Christmas. And Q kind of shared a little something with me about Christmas. Q, you want to share that story, man? It'll be honorable, man, if you could share that story, because I know that it's more people than you that probably have a similar story. And after you share yours, I would like to just give them a little briefing on mine, if you will.
Well, I was told or asked, how was I going to enjoy Christmas? And I shared with some folks, really, I don't really celebrate Christmas. And the question was asked, why? And as I stated earlier, we had a Christmas come up in the family, and I think I was around 6 or 7. And all the presents was under the tree. And quite, naturally, I thought I had a gift under there. And because, I didn't have no present under that tree, and I wasn't, being celebrated in the day of Christmas, at 7, I realized Christmas can be disappointing. Christmas can hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
So in order to make sure that I won't never get my feelings hurt anymore, I kind of just was like, you know what, I'm going to kind of like, not celebrate Christmas because Christmas hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I'm going to say this, Q. I hope today, man, us being together, we haven't been together in quite some time, that this is a Christmas gift for us. Absolutely. To be able to share this because, me coming up, around holidays, especially Christmas being one, I felt like, other people were getting treated better. They had better gifts, or there was numerous of times where that gift, I don't even think it was really for me. I think they slid me somebody else's gift, so because they kind of forgot about me a little bit. You feel what I'm saying, Q? Now this was with my mom's, but this is with other family members and that kind of thing. And man, a lot of people don't realize how much that hurt can hurt a child. Yeah. They really don't realize that. And even today, like you say, when Christmas comes about, you feel that, or you go back to that.
Absolutely.
That mental aspect of it. And a lot of people don't think that, we have mental illnesses and how they affect us. But when you mentioned it, that's what made me go back there, Q. So I appreciate you, sharing that with me, because I think that helps us, But let's get on a good note, man. Listen,
for
Q,
sure.
I know one thing for sure, man. That rap voice you got, man, is cold-blooded. Do you got a rap name at all? Like, what's the new rap name, Q? Don't be acting like that. I know you done played around with some names. What's this new rap name you got, Q?
Man, you know what, D? I enjoyed rapping for a time because I thought it was an opportunity for us to be able to create a voice for ourselves and maybe change some situations and circumstances in our lives by being able to get on a microphone and share some of our stories so that we can change the environment a little bit. But as time progressed and I saw how rap began to affect people and influence people to do certain things, man, I said, you know what, it's becoming saturated with different guys that really don't understand the power of their words and don't understand the power of their influences. So I think I'm going to gracefully bow out. But I mean, over time, I still, do my thing when I'm in the mirror.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
What I want you to do today, man, I just want you to act. Hey, I want y'all to ask Q to just act like he in the mirror, because I'm going to tell you, if we could get Q to act like he in the mirror, you guys will see what I seen in Q years ago. Super talented. I think, if Q was in his right space and he had the right team around him, I really don't think it's too many people that could compete against him. And that's my word. And I don't care who it is. So Q, I mean, can I? You think I can get you, man, to mess around a little bit? I ain't gonna push you too much, man. But just give these people, man, a couple of them verses, that you got in you, so they understand that the coach is for real.
Okay, well, yeah, man, this is really on the spot, and I really wasn't thinking I was gonna have to do nothing like that. But yeah.
And I want you to say it to him, Q. Don't be acting like you shy or nothing. I want you to say it. You in the mirror, Q. You in the mirror.
Yeah, I might be able to pull something out of my hat for a second.
And look at the mirror when you're talking to him, Q. That the camera actually is the mirror. Because I want the people to feel you, Q.
Without a doubt, D. I guess I'll hit y'all with a little something like this. The name of this is called If You Live to Be 100. If you live to be 100 or you die in your youth, what's the difference when you blinded by truth? Homie, if you live to be 100 or you die in your youth, what's the difference when you blinded by truth? Now, when he spoke the word to existence, he made the choice be yours. Blessed that child when it was born, kept her open to love. Knew in life one day it would find the truth and struggled hard to make a difference for you. When things got bad, you knew exactly where to go. When you hopped on a bus to 22 or 60, stepped out on the curb and off into the streets, and in front of your eyes it read the bloody shed for me. Couldn't be shook, took a look and it was gone. Off to the war, the battleship of Babylon. Sometimes forgetting, but in your heart always knew, avoiding that hate, a player haters hating at you. Remember them talks that you used to have with moms when she told you a smile was an upside down frown? She gave you the truth. When you didn't want to see it, had to have the stuff happen. Now it's time to believe it. You know, that's a little bit deep.
Hey man, that was awesome, Q.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got it, man. That voice, your voice, man, the tone of your voice, Q, it carries.
Okay.
Like you know, it's just, man, somebody they just want to ride that voice. You feel me, Q? But man, I thank you for sharing that with me, man. Can you tell me, you know, what really influenced you to produce the type of music or give off these messages? Because it's just not your music that you get messages. You know, I always see you, you know, pulling folks to the side, you know, talking to them, giving them, you know, your wisdom.
Sure.
You know, and your wisdom, in my opinion, your music and your wisdom is one. It's the same. You try to help, you try to build, you try to motivate people. And I don't know if y'all seen him when he started rapping. You seen his side come out, he got the smile, and he was really, because right now he trying to act like he's straight laid back all the time. Listen, Q is a good dude. So Q, what kind of, you know, what influenced this music, or what is it about, you know, you that's influencing this thing?
Well, like I said, when I look out of my eyes at the experiences that I have with other things and people, my experiences has always been where when I'm trying to, you know, introduce myself to people, it's a struggle at first. And we just not real trusting toward each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I look at trying to meet somebody, the first thing I want you to know is I ain't really after nothing. I'm not trying to get your money, because, I mean, you know, I ain't really about materialistic things. I know we need that in order to survive, but most people got their guards up. And for me, it's a challenge to try to get them to let them guards down, because that's what we are. We a bunch of folks with a whole lot of, you know, guards up, man. So,
yeah, you know, that's interesting, man, that you say that we living in a world where we all almost got to prove ourselves, and try to break barriers with men to get to a place. You know, with the 100 Gems Positive Home of the Champs, one of the things or the podcast Home of the Champs, you know, one of the things that we trying to do is get together with the brothers so we can, you know, start breaking them barriers, so we can start having them conversations, so we can start building our communities, so we can start building ourselves. And that it hurts almost, man, that we have to go through those mazes, those challenges before we can even get to a place where we could talk to our brothers. Because you said, I mean, you come from a place where you just, you know, it's you know, two sisters up, two sisters down, and your moms, you know, not a lot of men there. So you know, I would think you would, you know, you seeking some of that man from a man. I mean, not in that way, but you follow what I'm saying, Q?
In some
you know,
essence,
we need that dialect or that conversation with the brother so we can build.
When you coming from a household of women and you don't really have a lot of, you know, strength as far as a masculine entity in your life, encountering men can sometimes be fearful. It can be scary.
Right.
And I could just recall a moment where I remember men who may have taken a liking to me started to trying to come close to me, and I would push them away. Because I thought, like how my mother and my sisters them trained me to think when it came to men. Right. And sometimes indirectly, when women are being abused or neglected or taken advantage of, they teach their sons that indirect response without even realizing it.
Yeah, that's deep, Q.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, now as a man, I understand that, you know, in order to become a man, you have to be able to encounter that raw and uncontaminated a character. You have to be able to gravitate to who you're going to become, and you can't be afraid of it. It was many times where my mother had some mental illnesses, and I didn't even know it. So, coming up as a young man and as her son, I would address things that I knew were wrong. And because this was my mother and she, was the authority in my life, I'd have to swallow that. So it was things that I learned based on, their sufferings and their domestic violences and her domestic violences that I probably wouldn't have learned if she had the right structures in her life. But as I grew up, I started to debunk some of them things. I started to move that out of my life. The fears of somebody coming to do something to me or all this different stuff. These are women fears.
Right.
I even met a sister a time back, and it was the conditions outside was rough. And I said, hey, you need a ride? And the sister was like, you ain't gonna hurt me, is you? That's the first thing she said. Right. So imagine being the child to that woman. Mm-hmm. She's afraid of something that ain't there.
Right.
So what would be especially if he's a little boy.
Right.
So, a lot of times we indirectly teach each other fears that are in us that we don't even be aware of.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's taught to our children. So, I had to go back and do a whole lot of, unpacking, man. And it's still a journey, man. It's a lot more stuff I got to unpack. So, as I become more and more of a man, I gotta unpack. It ain't never too late, man. I promise you. I'm getting older and older, and as I'm getting older and older, I'm still coming in contact with things that I know that are not healthy for me. So I'm steady working on it.
Hey man, that's right, man. I mean, it's always a work in progress or work in process, right? And so, man, Q, I really think, man, I appreciate you coming out to the 100 Gems podcast, home of the champs. Sharing some of your life with us, sharing some of your music with us, your sounds with us. So a couple more questions, Q, and I'm gonna definitely let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day. So a couple questions is this, Q. So when it comes to your children, you do have children, right, Q?
Yeah.
You got a boy, girl, you got a daughter.
Yeah.
And so with having a daughter, what is it that you want to see your daughter? How do you want to see her grow differently than Q? I mean, you was a young boy growing up, but you seen that you got sisters up and down. What is it that you see in that relationship that you want to add that might be different or bring to the table? Because I have 11 children, so I'm a little different. Mm-hmm. But just having one, I mean, is it anything different you want to see with that daughter?
Well, for one, I want to be able to make sure my daughter overcome a lot of the things that I was afraid to encounter. Mm-hmm. And then one of those examples is we look at life through our experiences. I had a real problem with authority coming up because the way I had to encounter it. I had to encounter certain things, If I would go out and take something out of a store because I was hungry and the police arrested me, I didn't like it. So, the encounter of the officer arresting me and taking me into custody had me at an opposition. But what if I was a good person, not stealing, and encountered the same person? It wouldn't have been the same exchange. So a lot of times our exchanges are different. And so what I would probably try to watch out for is placing fears in my daughter that were negative in my life without, contaminating her. Let me give you the outlook without it being a negative experience.
Right.
So one thing I would try to do is try to give her a view of life without it being a negative experience.
Right.
And through my negative encounters. So I would tell her, hey, reach for the stars. And if a person is a good person, give them a chance.
Right.
So I try to watch how I say things and watch how the things that I've experienced come out of my mouth. Watch my phobias. Watch how I display those different characteristics in front of even my grandchildren, because I got 2 grandbabies now.
Right.
And they girls.
Right.
So how they look at me responding
them
to
girls
life.
running the family for real, don't they, Q?
Oh yeah, man. It's and sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, man, we gonna get some more men around here.
Hey, I know that's
but
right.
but it's all good though.
Yeah, most definitely.
But like I said, man, I just would like my daughter to overcome a lot of the different hurdles that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold her back.
Right.
So a lot of times I don't even share what I've been through with my daughter. Like I don't go and try to make my life a sad story that causes her to look at people or different circumstances with my view.
Right. Oh, that makes clear sense. Yeah, and so, with that being said, Q, man, like I say, man, I appreciate you dialoguing with me, to the utmost, man. You my guy.
Oh yeah.
We've been in the game for a long time together. We even sold merchandise together.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You come from that too, Q. Straight hustler. Get out there, you get that money, and you wasn't no average hustler.
Right.
And when I'm saying hustling, we talking about merchandise, y'all. We talking about clothing, shoes, T-shirts, jewelry, whatever it was that we needed to feed our family with.
I always had the, not to cut you off, I always had the appetite to do for my own self.
Mm-hmm.
And when the doors of opportunity came for me to take that route, I was down for it.
Right.
And a lot of times, I encountered my own ills and issues in the exchange, but even now looking back and reflecting on it, man, it made me who I am. So, one of the things that I say is through my struggles, man, I have become better and better and better. If it hadn't been for the struggles that I'd been through, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I don't discredit none of them.
Right.
I'm certainly not ashamed of myself in any way. I'm saying I appreciate those struggles, and I think when you have struggles and you make it through them, they make you a better person if you can live to become of age and grow through them.
Right. One of the things I want to ask you, man, like what advice would you offer or give to an aspiring artist, or rapper, somebody that want to get into the music industry as a rapper? What kind of advice would you give that person?
Know what you moving to do. Know what the power of your influence is. If you are going to influence other people, know how powerful that influence can be, and ask yourself, if you were someone that listens to you, would you want someone to be influenced in a negative or positive way? How do you want people to respond if your children were going to be influenced by things that are said? How do you want them to be responded to the things that they hear? Just know the impact and the strength of how you influence things. Be aware of that. And then go forth. Don't go do something unaware. Develop your hindsight and your foresight. Develop your insight, and be the biggest you can be before you open your mouth and start influencing people.
Right. Now, Q, one of the things I want you to say, and I'm gonna ask you another question to close it out. I want you to give the people some advice. But right now, I know you're doing a few different entrepreneurial things. I think one of them you were dealing with clean outs, like you clean out companies, you clean out homes, garages for people. That's a service that you provide. Is that right, Q?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know you got that real big. What do you call that? A big. What's the thing that they put all that stuff in?
It's a trailer.
A big trailer, really, that you load up and do that kind of stuff. So Q, if some people wanted to connect with you, can you let them know what you do? Like maybe do a 20 seconds. Say, hey, if you want to hook up with Quincy Price or the name of your company, and just let them know the telephone number so that they can reach you, Q.
Okay, so one of the ways that you can reach me, if you are to need any of these services, I do deconstruction and demolition, and we take and we haul away the debris that is being substituted in houses. If you got a bunch of stuff that's sitting in your garage, or somebody that came past your place of business and just kind of like unloaded their stuff in front of your place, and you don't want that there, you can reach me at benignity 13 at iCloud.com. That's BENIGNITY 13 at iCloud.com.
Okay, and so all right, great, Q. So the next thing I want you to do, man, is give the people some advice. I want you to look in the camera. This is 100 Gems podcast, and what we try to always do before we close the show is we like our guests to give the viewers some type of advice that they can leave with, right? It could be from any realm that you like. Some type of life advice, a gem. I mean, I'm talking about reach down and give it to them, Q, and if they can hear it, they can go home with it and be happy with that, man.
My advice to anybody that's willing to learn and grow and become a better you is never stop expecting the best from yourself. Always dig down deep and be patient enough to know that there's a tomorrow past the today that's causing you to feel like you just can't make it. There's always another day if you can be patient enough for yourself to do it.
Hey, listen up, man. Y'all heard what Q said. It's always another day, right? It's always another day. Listen, man, I am Coach Darvin. This is 100 Gems podcast, home of the champs. And today we was with my main man, Q. What a great show, y'all. Peace.